Robin Gibb was never just a voice in a legendary band. He was a deeply emotional artist whose life carried layers of beauty, conflict, and quiet pain. For years after his passing, much of his personal life remained hidden, protected by those closest to him. But as time passed, his children began to speak, not to expose him, but to help the world understand him beyond fame. Their words reveal a man who lived intensely, loved deeply, and struggled privately. Behind the harmonies that shaped generations was someone constantly searching for balance between family, identity, and music. His story is not simply about success, but about the cost of it and the truths that only time could finally bring into the light. Humble beginnings and early identity. Robin was born on December 22nd, 1949 in Isle of Man, just minutes before his twin brother, Maurice Gibb. His early childhood was shaped by constant movement as his family relocated from the Isle of Man to Manchester and later to Australia. These frequent changes created instability, but also exposed him to different cultures and influences. As a child, Robin was energetic and mischievous, often getting into trouble with his brothers. Yet beneath that restless energy was a growing sensitivity. Music became the one constant in his life, something that grounded him amid change. Alongside Barry Gibb and Maurice, he began experimenting with harmonies, unknowingly shaping the sound that would define their future. Discovery of music and early fame. During the mid-1950s, the Gibb brothers discovered harmony singing, inspired by artists like the Everly Brothers and Paul Anka. Their natural ability to blend voices set them apart even at a young age. By 1955, they formed their first group and began performing locally, showing early signs of their future success. After moving to Australia, their opportunities expanded, and by 1960, they appeared on television for the first time. Robin's voice stood out for its emotional tremble, something rare for someone so young. When they signed with Festival Records, their journey toward fame accelerated. What began as childhood curiosity soon turned into a serious career, placing them on a path that would change music history forever. Rise of fame and emotional pressure. As the Bee Gees rose to international fame in the late 1960s, Robin became one of the defining voices of the group. Songs like Massachusetts showcased his unique tone and emotional delivery. However, success brought pressure. Fame arrived quickly, and the brothers were not fully prepared for its demands. Robin, in particular, struggled with the expectations placed on him. Creative disagreements began to surface, especially with Barry over leadership and artistic direction. The spotlight that once felt exciting slowly became overwhelming. Behind the success, tensions were growing, and the bond between the brothers began to strain. For Robin, music remained his refuge, but even that space was becoming complicated by internal conflict and rising expectations. Love, marriage, and personal struggles. In 1968, Robin married Molly Hullis at a young age, seeking stability amid the chaos of fame. Their relationship began with deep emotional connection, especially after surviving a tragic train accident together. However, the pressures of his career soon took a toll. Living apart for long periods created distance, and Robin's mental and emotional struggles intensified. He turned to stimulants to cope with demanding schedules, which further affected his behavior and relationships. His moods became unpredictable, creating tension at home. By 1980, their marriage ended in divorce after years of strain. The separation was painful and public, revealing cracks in his personal life that fans had not seen before. It marked one of the first major collapses in his emotional world. Second marriage and hidden realities. Robin later found companionship with Dwina Murphy Gibb, whom he married in 1985. Their relationship appeared stable and supportive, built on shared creativity and understanding. However, years later, it was revealed that their marriage was unconventional. They had an open relationship, something kept private during his lifetime. This arrangement became widely discussed after Robin's death, especially when details of his relationship with Claire Yang surfaced. While it may have seemed scandalous from the outside, Dwina later explained that she was aware and accepting. This revelation changed how many viewed Robin's personal life. It showed that his relationships were complex and shaped by emotional needs that were not always visible to the public. Family conflicts and brotherly tensions. The bond between Robin, Barry, and Maurice was both powerful and fragile. Creative disagreements led Robin to briefly leave the Bee Gees in 1969. Although they reunited, underlying tensions never fully disappeared. The death of Maurice Gibb in 2003 deeply affected the family. Maurice had often acted as a mediator, and without him, conflicts between Robin and Barry intensified. Disagreements over legacy and projects created emotional distance. What fans saw as professional differences were actually rooted in grief and unresolved feelings. Robin struggled to navigate these relationships, especially as communication between the brothers became limited. Despite their love for each other, emotional barriers remained, leaving wounds that were never fully healed. Health battles and final strength. In 2011, Robin was diagnosed with cancer, a battle he faced with quiet determination. Despite the severity of his illness, he remained hopeful and continued working on music, including the Titanic Requiem. Even as his health declined, he refused to let go of his passion. In 2012, he slipped into a coma, and doctors feared the worst. However, in a moment his family described as miraculous, he briefly regained consciousness after hearing his own music. It was a powerful reminder of how deeply music was connected to his spirit. Though his recovery was short-lived, those final moments reflected his resilience. He passed away on May 20th, 2012, surrounded by loved ones, leaving behind a legacy defined by both strength and vulnerability. Children breaking the silence. Years after his death, Robin's children began sharing insights into his life. Their intention was not to reveal secrets for attention, but to provide understanding. They confirmed long-standing rumors about his relationships and personal struggles, offering clarity where there had once been speculation. Through their stories, a more complete picture of Robin emerged. He was not just a star, but a father, a partner, and a man navigating complicated emotions. His son, R.J. Gibb, especially spoke about their bond and the memories they shared through music. These revelations helped humanize Robin, showing that his life was not defined by controversy, but by the depth of his experiences and the love he carried for his family. Legacy of music and emotional truth. Robin Gibb's legacy goes far beyond fame. His voice continues to resonate through generations, carrying emotion that feels timeless. Songs he helped create remain deeply connected to listeners around the world. But beyond music, his story is one of complexity and honesty. He lived with passion, made mistakes, and faced challenges that were not always visible. His children's decision to share his truth has allowed fans to see him as more than an icon. It has revealed a man who struggled, loved, and created with everything he had. In the end, his life reminds us that even the most celebrated voices carry untold stories, and sometimes those stories matter just as much as the music itself.